part of being a conservative in recent years is noticing things before it is socially acceptable to notice them. You weren't supposed to notice back then about how close it was to a lab doing research on coronaviruses in bats. You weren't supposed to notice back then that actually getting COVID, it gave you at least a certain level of immunity from the disease, or at least your body had already fought it off. So by golly, you're going to have natural immunity at least for a certain period of time. You weren't supposed to notice that, hey, younger and healthier people were at much less risk of adverse effects from COVID than older people or people who are immunocompromised. You weren't supposed to notice that, oh, by the way, taking kids out of school for a year or more in some parts of the country was going to have really serious adverse effects on their education, on their development, on their socialization, on all these important, like all these things that now it can be told. And I kind of sit there and wonder about New York Times subscribers. Do you ever get mad about learning things like 5 years later? Doesn't that ever oh, honey, did you see this? Those nut jobs with the lab leak, they were right the whole time. Go figure, huh?